Hey guys, welcome back to another commentary from a national champion. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. I really appreciate it. So we're up to 179 subscribers now, which is pretty cool to me. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. If possible, do you reckon we could please get that up to 200 before the end of the year? If not, all good. I just like doing the videos and I like interacting with you guys. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So we've got for you today Mika Galvao versus Igor Rodrigues. I'm just going to make sure that all the settings are good and that sound is off, and then we'll get into it. It's a relatively short match. I might just skip ahead. So it looks like, yeah, Mika's going to be straight into it. Looks like he's growing a little bit. He's going from 18 to 19 years old, and he's getting a little bit of meat on his bones a bit. So we're in the 88 kgs. There's this weird weight where, like, you're still small enough to move super quick, but you're too big to be like lifted easy, you know. And so we're in this 88 kg championship, and you can see that he was sprawling pretty heavy. You know, that fucking amazing quality by flow grappling, but he like kicked his legs all the way back and kind of face planted himself. I like how aggressive these guys are being in terms of their takedown attempts, but they're not really setting them up, if you know what I mean, where like they're doing snap downs and all the rest of it, and they're setting them up, but they're kind of like going for them. Where's he gone? Where does he go for it? I've lost it. Yeah, so I might be back here. Yeah, so he as you can see, he goes for this inside leg reap from right back here, and like look at how much distance there is between his feet, Mika's feet, and Igor's feet. This would be an incredibly difficult thing to pull off, considering that the grips and the forehead are together. And so you're trying to like go around and down past his head rather than down and in, which it looks the same, but what I mean is like when you start off with your head down here somewhere, you can just go in as you're traveling down, so it ends up like a downward trajectory, if that makes sense. You don't want to like try and duck your head in and go straight down first before going in. You want to be going on an angle, but like because his head is connected, his hands are connected, it's going to be very hard to make this connection with the outside foot on the in work. But he goes for it anyway, and like you can see how, because like that's a monstrously long lunge from back here. It'd probably work against people less well experienced, but he's not really setting up the takedown properly, as it were. And he'll get away with it because he's so athletic and geared to the gills and all the rest of it. On regular people, because he's so athletic that he can just make it work and dive in. But against someone of the caliber of Igor, it's not going to happen that easily, you know. And if it does, it's luck. And you don't want your techniques to be based on luck. You want them to be based on skill, just the same as the rest of your jiu-jitsu. Not to say it can't work, but it's not my preferred style. And so like even like these snap downs and everything, where has it gone? Like the snap downs that we'll see in a second, they really feel like just aggression wrenching down rather than anything controlled, because you could see that disconnect that happened there. Watch. Bonk. He like pulled him down and to the corner, right? And now he's so disconnected in here that he's trying to get the space and like go for the back and all the rest of it, but there was no control over that snap down. It was just wrenching. And so he ends up super disconnected by his own actions, and he doesn't get anything for it except for wasted energy. And that's all well and good when you're so athletic, but if you're trying to do that against a biggin, it's not going to work. I guess that these guys wouldn't really do the open weights, but like, you don't want bad technique just because you can get away with it. You want good technique. And then if you have to get away with bad technique, then that's when you can. You know, you don't want to rely on it as a standard. So these guys are, like, I really like Igor's posture here. He's quite tall. But I feel like he is opening himself up to surprise smashes in for takedowns, because Mika's already established that he can dive in really quickly. And I feel like Mika's done this game plan where he's like baited the head wrenching down to make Igor posture properly. I guess and so you can see that he goes for it immediately. And Igor had to have a big reaction there. And so it seems like a pretty good game plan from Mika, all things considered, and he's just going for takedown after takedown. I don't know if he's it's the most retarded guard pull I've ever seen in my fucking life. So he has an over wrap, he has an under wrap, and he's so flexible that he can fold himself in half and swing this top leg up and over the top and look for like a triangle. So if he jumps and gets this leg in underneath the arm, you'll get a triangle. You can also start looking to swing this one up and over, and then like rotate his hips from the opposite side up and over to this near side, and start looking for an armbar, this sort of thing. But like, I don't think I'd ever do that. He just slammed himself. He just slammed himself. You know, and like, that seems so dumb, because all that Igor has to do to stop anything from happening here, because his head is on the outside of the leg, so that's the leg and this is Igor's head here, is he just needs to step this leg up and plant it so his foot will be like this on his hip line, and start turning the corner to the outside, and then you'll get like a leg drag type thing. And he doesn't go for it. Instead, he postures backwards and controls the outside leg. And you can see how strong Mika was there. But that's largely to do with the fact that the knees are like curled in. So his body is like this, where his hips are rotated in, his knees are like up near his chest. So there's a lot of potential to push, a lot of potential work involved. And he's coiled up like a spring, right? And so if he has tensile strength, which he does, he'll just push you away. And a very nice wrestle up, honestly. And part of the like beauty about being so small, I say 88 kilos is small. It's not really that small, but smaller than 110, which I am, you know. The beauty about being so small is that you can get away with like pushing them away with your tensile strength, and no one blames you for being strong. And you can get this really nice hook. You see how this hook is like near the center. We've spoken about this with Merengali before, where you want to be controlling the hips properly so you're in the center. He lifts Igor out the way as he does like this perfect ab crunch. So he's doing like a leg extension, ab crunch, lifts him to the side, and then this hand is going to come in for the wrap. And really, really nice technique. He's controlling the opposite shoulder instead of going for the leg, which is exactly what you want to be doing, because if Igor's not careful, Mika can use this hand to pull the head down and around the corner and get easy takedown, or he can use it to go around the opposite side in like a pushing motion. using his inside leg to trip the opposite leg. So it's really, really good wrestle up, really nice technique, but he loses that head control, and so he loses the whole thing. Igor is a little bit weary now. I would suggest that Mika's probably a bit better. I would suggest that Mika is the favourite to win this. And very often it comes down to who's more aggressive rather than who's more technically skilled, especially if they both have the gas tank just to keep moving the entire roll. The reason being is that these guys would be good at pressure in the gi, but they're not good at pressure outside the gi because they buy into the hype that it's not for them because they're too small. And that's just not true. It pressures the technique just the same as anything else. And so, very nice ankle pick. Oh, he's going into the wall. Very nice ankle pick. Let's rewind that. I'll finish this thought and then we'll watch that. They have like the style where they don't bother using pressure, and so because they're not bothering using pressure in the no-gi, they don't make each other as tired, and because of that, whoever has the bigger gas tank just to keep scrambling will win. So we're here, and Mika does that really nice shuffling the elbow off of his shoulder so he can reach down and grab onto the inside knee. And you can see how this is exactly the same as if he already had the leg, because he's controlling the head. And he just runs through it using his head as the battering ram to push Igor off balance. So he's not pulling the leg up per se as much as he is pushing Igor off balance and then using that off balancing to scoop the leg up and in, which is much more efficient. And then because he's running so violently, Igor loses balance and falls. I'm not sure why they wouldn't sit them down again, but I guess wrestling is exciting and guard play isn't. But I mean, we're here to watch jiu-jitsu, so oh well. Woo! Very, very nice takedown. Very nice knee wheel. Very nice knee wheel. So we're here. Mika has control over the back head, so he gets this club in on the inside space. He also has like this elbow going down and up onto the inside end, and so now he has a lot of leverage to pull Igor around the corner. And you notice his leg setup. This is an intentional leg setup. How his hips, this hip is slightly further back than this hip, which is slightly further forwards. And what ends up happening is he can rotate this forward hip backwards as he pulls around the corner, but he can just open up the leg to the outside, as you can see. And then as he does this, let's see if we can pause at the perfect time. Boom. He collected that foot. Let's do this in slow motion because this is worth going slow motion for it. As he steps back, you see how he opens up that hip, like I said, and then he sticks the leg out. But watch the technical prowess of Mika here. Instead of going for something like I would, which is just relying on them to catch on your leg in general, he precisely places his foot on the inside and then rotates his toes to the inside. Bonk. And then pulls with his leg as he's going, so that there's really no base for Igor, and now Igor has no choice but to fall. That is next level technique, that right there. And then Igor accepted the fact that the next second of his life was going to suck, and then Mika falls into the top of a really, really nice side control. Not that that will mean much unless he can secure it, because it's so hard to hold people down in no-gi. Let's watch the whole thing again. Bonk. Boom. Very, very nice. And the only reason why he finished that is because of that ankle curling in, that precision. So he sprawls out on top. Igor is not letting that happen. He's not letting himself get armbarred straight away. So you can see that Mika, his left arm is looped. So that's Igor's arm. Mika's is looped through it. And Mika goes straight away for an armbar. Sits in, and Igor just wrenches out of it. And so this falls into like the pet peeve that I have whenever I watch these top level guys, is because there's a dichotomy in my head. I understand that these guys will beat me, but I still understand what they're doing isn't the best thing to be doing. But it fucks me off because they'll still beat me with this style, even though I know that it's not the best style. So what he should be doing instead is, instead of stepping this outside leg over for the armbar, he should be focusing on clearing this knee with this shoulder so that he can get a proper control and then advance the position from there and then get a proper submission later on. Instead he goes for a haphazard armbar in a vain attempt of getting a submission quickly, and then Igor sees the opportunity and just starts rolling straight away. Not saying it can't work, but saying it generally doesn't, especially when it's in no-gi. But if we take Gordon Ryan, for example, Gordon Ryan would be on those hips, smothering them, taking mount, clearing two arms, and then getting an armbar later, you know. And the philosophy with that is that you want to be able to tell your partner or your opponent what you're going to get them with, and then they can't do a damn thing to stop it. And that is the truest display of dominance in the sport, is if you can write on a sticky note, I'm going to submit them with this, and then they can't stop me, and then you do, rather than, you know, catching them with a haphazard armbar and them making a mistake, and then they walk away going, well, you just got lucky that I made a mistake. No, you want to be able to say, I completely destroyed you to the point where you couldn't do anything to stop me, and you gave up long in advance of me getting the submission, and I could get it at will, and you couldn't stop me at all, and I told you about it before the match. Good luck. You know, I know which one of those two I'd rather be, and this is not it, you know. Very nice back take though. So we'll come back to the match. So Mika switches this hand. It's really nice. So he goes over the top with this left hand of his, controlling the shoulder. So this foot will be carrying a lot of strain. You can see like the flex in the mat, because Igor's trying to do a Granby roll. So he's trying to like tuck this head in, pull it through, get these hips past the body line, flare this leg wide, and then get a guard back, potentially wrestle up, etc. Mika stops that by using his entire body as a block above the hip line, and like crimping in with the elbow and hugging himself to Igor. You can see as well he's like controlling the head. What happens then is he goes down across the hip when the Granby roll isn't working, and transitions this top hand out and in over the shoulder. From here, because you've got the seatbelt wrap, you can start swinging the corner. The knee slices in to like there'll be a space here, so the hips are along, knee goes down, foot, leg comes back, foot goes down. Elbow is in on the inside, here, somewhere. There's going to be a space in there where his outside knee can insert. Then he swings the leg over the top, heel goes into the other space. And now all of a sudden, he gets one hook in, and he starts hunting for the second hook. And again, because he's so tensilely strong, he can start looking to like ab curl in, and then get the outside leg in. But in the meantime, you can see how he's got his hand. His hand has started sinking in for the choke, so Igor is trying to defend this while defend the hook, because you need to defend the hook. And instead of going for the outside hook and the control, Mika settles for like a external hook on the ankle. I don't know what this is called nowadays, but I just call this external hook. And that's good enough to start sinking in that choke. And then he gets the other hook anyway, and now he's on the back. And we follow the meta of clearing his arms very, very well. So he's controlling he controlled this hand and loses with his right hand and loses it for some reason, and then smashes Igor in the face on the way through to clear the leg. And this is a very good meta because, again, if you treat Jiu-Jitsu as a resource game, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is your body resources against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas I can't tell who's who. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what's happening right now is we've got 2 resources against 1. So 2 resources against 1. Because 2 resources are dealing with 3. And then the body is dealing with the body. The heads aren't really important here. They are, but ignore that. They are important, but they're like active for less time, if you know what I mean. And so now all of a sudden Igor has to try and defend a choke with 1 resource against 2, and that's very, very difficult odds. You see how he's trying to like drop his chin in and get free. But ironically, these guys don't really go about defending this the right way per se. What he should be trying to do is stepping this leg wide and diving into the choke. It's not exactly intuitive because you don't want to get choked, but you're already in a really bad spot, so you may as well try something better than trying to drop your chin down, which just won't work over time. You need to get your arm free to bring it back into the defense. And you notice how poorly positioned this elbow is for a rear naked choke. You want it in front of the chin. So if you force your head into the elbow by stepping this leg wide, doing a forward hip escape, dragging the hips through, and then turning onto your side, forcing this head to the ground over here, you start to come out, and then you can start, because he's not going to be choking you that effectively, you can use your other hand to free the trapped arm, and then you can come back into the fight. No one really does this because it's very counterintuitive and you run a big risk of getting choked. But what this is doing right here is hoping that Meek is going to make a mistake when he's just not. You know, you're playing a chess grandmaster hoping they're going to make a mistake instead of playing a good game. And you end up just tapping because there's nothing left to be done. And so very convincing win by Mr. Mika. And quite calm and collected by Igor, like during the whole match. I've never seen him before, but I like the cut of his jib, as it were, because his style of jiu-jitsu is a little bit more reserved, and that fits with my own a little bit more. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of winning because you out-scramble your opponent rather than out-finesse or out-technique them. Not to say that Mika's not very, very good. He obviously is. He's got great technique as well. But I like the styles of jiu-jitsu where it's much more finesse than it is scrambly. So anyway, good win by Mr. Galvao versus Rodrigues. And I look forward to seeing how good he gets in the future. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed that, please feel free to give me a like, a subscription. It really helps me out, makes me feel like a real YouTuber. And then anything you like, didn't like, or any questions, feel free to comment. I'll try and get back to them. I only get a few comments, so it's quite nice to interact with you guys. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one.